The lead singer of the heavy metal band Motley Crüe was back in court today. He was ordered to begin serving a 30-day jail sentence for manslaughter and drunk driving. 24-year-old Vincent Neil Wharton will surrender himself at the Gardena City Jail on July 14th. Last July, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter and drunk driving charges in the head-on crash of his car in December of 1984. A passenger in his car was killed, and 2 others were hurt. In a plea bargain arrangement, Wharton was ordered to pay $2.6 million to the 2 injured victims and to the estate of the passenger who died.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Redondo Beach, California. Let me give you a little bit of the geography of the area. I am wearing sunglasses because it's early in the morning and mornings aren't great for me. But I had to get out here before the traffic starts, and yeah, they look really big. My friend Midwest Flesh, shout out Midwest Flesh, gave these to me back in Indiana earlier in the year. Thanks, man. I wear them all the time when I'm driving. I love them. So if you look up there, you're looking towards Santa Monica, Manhattan Beach, Venice, Hermosa, and then to our south we have Palos Verdes, California, which is one of my favorite places here. Hollywood and the Sunset Strip, you can't see it, but it's that way. About 45 minutes, 30 minutes when there's no traffic, maybe 35, middle of the night. During the day, rush hour though, you're looking at an hour and a half, 2 hours. It can be brutal. This building here, the Delphi. Now, for people who have watched my channel or have seen a few of my videos, this may look familiar to you. This building is actually where Chyna, the professional wrestler, passed away. And I did a video about that here on my channel. Last year, I guess? And here I am again, because this video is where this story, today's story, starts. 916 Esplanade, here in Redondo Beach. This was the home of Vince Neil, lead singer of Motley Crüe. Him and his wife had a condo here on the 4th floor. And I'm looking at it. Oh, let me turn around, hold on. I look at this building and I think, a hard partying rocker in 1984 living here having parties. It seems condos, we've all been to parties in apartments or condos, there's a lot of neighbors, and it seems that anybody I'm living next door to Vince Neil of Motley Crüe would probably have a few complaints, because I think his parties would go for a very, very long time. And in December of 1984, there was a party here at his condo, and it had been going for a very, very long time. So Vince Neil, well, you know what? I'll leave a lot of my personal opinions out about Vince Neil. I just have a bit of an issue with him. He's had a long line of, he's a legend. I mean, Motley Crüe's a great band. He is a legend, but he's had some real legal issues, and DUIs are one of them. He's been accused of abuse, a few other things. Just doesn't seem like a stand-up guy to me. But there's a band called Hanoi Rocks, and they were around. They were a Finnish band, rock band, and they were coming to LA for the first time. They were doing a tour. Vince Neil and Motley Crüe befriended them, and they hung out. Vince Neil took them all around, showed them the sights of LA. And then they decided to come here and have a little party that lasted a really long time. From what I know, they're partying all day. And what happens when you party all day? Drugs, alcohol. You run out. So, Vince Neil, who had a blood alcohol level in his body of 0.17. At the time in California, the legal limit was 0.10. He decided to get into his Pantera sports car, probably parked somewhere in here, right in his garage, and go for a ride to the liquor store. Along with him for the ride was Nicholas Razzle Dingley, who was a drummer for Hanoi Rocks. And they went right up here, right up the Esplanade, towards a liquor store. You probably read the title, you know where this is going. It was a horrific car crash, not too far from here. And Vince Neil lost control of the car. And it said that he either was avoiding a parked fire truck or skidded through water on the road, driving at a very extreme speed. Went head on into a VW Beetle, instantly killing Nicholas Dingley, Razzle, and severely injuring the 2 occupants of the white VW Beetle. Vince Neil pretty much walked away. Ain't that always the case? To that liquor store that they went to. They got their liquor, but they didn't make it back, and they crashed just up here. I'm gonna drive by the crash location first, and then we're gonna go first we're gonna go to the liquor store that they went to, and I think it's now a food mart of some kind, and I'm gonna show you where the crash occurred and where sadly Razzle lost his life. And Vince Neil didn't do too much time. Got off a little scot-free, if you ask me. This is December of 1984. This is but December, so it gets dark. It gets dark here in California right at 5 o'clock, and unusually dark. Other states, and even Canada, it gradually gets dark. Here, it's just someone like turned out the lights right at 5 o'clock. So these streets would have been packed around that time, around 6 o'clock at night, and dark. So they came to this liquor store. It is now called Food Mart, but this is the one they came to. Literally, that was a 2-minute drive that I just made. I'm going to show you right here. Right down this street, make a left. I mean, straight ahead is the ocean. But you make a left, go a couple blocks down, and you're at Vince Neil's condo. So I was just interrupted by a very nice gentleman, attorney, right there, telling me about the beach and that sort of thing. Things I knew, but very nice, very friendly area. But this is the liquor store, so they would have went in here and purchased alcohol because they needed that to keep it going. People were waiting for them back at the party. I think Tommy Lee was there, another member of Hanoi Rocks, one of the managers. It was an all-day party all night. It was, I don't know, if multiple people have a bender at the same time together, there's a multi-bender. So then they would have got back in their car, possibly come out of that parking lot, possibly just come out of the parking lot that they would have turned into, which is right there, another parking lot, and headed back down Sapphire toward the Esplanade and make a left. Okay, so here we are back on the Esplanade. Now there's a white car parked right in front of right in the middle of the street. I don't know why. But see where this other car is approaching? Right now he's stopping at that stop sign. And that's Sapphire. So that street where this car is turning right now, the white car, he's coming from exactly where we just were at the liquor store. 1 block over. Right around where he is right now, the white car, that is where Vince Neil would have lost control of the car. Right around there, because he skidded into oncoming traffic towards, I believe it's Topaz Street, and the crash happened right there. Now, I should add that, yes, he was ordered to pay $2.6 million in restitution to the victims and victims' families, 200 hours of community service, 30 days in jail, of which he served 15. What's happening up there? But yeah, he only served 15 days. Video's not over yet, but before I forget, I was looking at pictures of the crash site, and a YouTube channel and possibly a website as well named 85 Grave had a whole bunch of them, so shout out to them. And they had so many pictures, because I was looking hard to find pictures of the crash, because I've gotten so many requests. So I get a lot of requests to do subjects, and there's certain ones that keep coming up, and this is one of them. And I've been looking into this for 2 years, and I didn't realize that Vince Neil's condo was China's condo when I filmed it. But I did some digging, and I had somebody else helping me locate a couple of things just to double check. And then, as always, I did triple digging with some actual police records and court transcripts, and figured out for sure where the location was. And of course, I should say 85 Grave as well came out here too. And I did watch their video. I thought it was great, and I wish them much success. They seem like really cool people on that channel. The accident was right here. VW was smashed. It was smashed so bad. Right in front of it was halfway up on the sidewalk. Vince Neil's car was totaled as well. One of Razzle's shoes, looked like a Converse high top, was right about right here. It was a horrific scene. Something I was thinking about is, while I'm thinking out loud, something I was thinking about while I'm thinking, makes perfect sense, is we all are in traffic, and then nowadays we'll get a Google alert or an alert on our phone or the GPS that there's a crash ahead, delay, or we just try an alternate route because there's a crash. And we groan and we moan and we say, it's going to make us late, or, it's an annoyance. And then, of course, we don't take the alternate route. We do the whole rubbernecking thing, which pisses everybody off, because we're all like, that's what's making it slow. Yet everybody that passes a car crash does you can't help it. You can't help but look. Even though, ironically, you're angry because that's what's taking so long, mostly, is everybody slowing down to look. So we're all guilty of that. But one thing, we get that notification about a crash, and then back in the day, we'd just be like, oh, what if there's a crash? Must be a crash. This is what I'm talking about before GPS and all that. And we start thinking, oh, man, like, should we get off the road? Should we go this way, that way? And I wonder how bad it is, or I wonder what happened. And then we see it. Now, a lot of us have probably witnessed fender benders or witnessed more serious car accidents. Possibly we've been in them. There is nothing more horrific than the sound of the metal and the destruction of two cars hitting each other, and the shouts or screams on the street that you hear. And then the explosion. It's not I don't mean an actual fireball explosion. The explosion sound that you hear, that's what it sounds like. It's a boom when two cars hit each other. It's a giant boom that you could hear from very far away when it's a big car crash. I've heard them before. It's terrifying. It's horrible to hear. So I think to myself, wow, we pass these car accidents, and it's somebody who's having the worst moment of their life, possibly whose life is ended. It's just really sad that we just kind of drive by them and think, oh man, this is making us late for work. I just think that a lot of us maybe don't think that. We think, God, I hope everyone's okay. Unfortunately, like I said, Razzle lost his life. He was taken to a nearby hospital. He was already passed away by the time he got to the hospital, but he was officially pronounced dead there. 2 victims, other victims in the VW Beetle. One of them still has brain damage to this day. Vince Neil just came off a 48-city world tour with Poison, Def Leppard, Joan Jett. So he's still going strong. If you're looking for these locations, because they are now kind of all over the internet, but they weren't for a while. It was difficult for me to find them at first. I think about 2 or 3 years ago when I wanted to do a video on it. 616 Esplanade. The car crash occurred right here. Vince Neil and Razzle coming from that direction, skidded, out of control, right here. Vince Neil's condo straight down the Esplanade. What did I say it was? 916? The Delphi, I think it was called. Right? And the liquor store, can't miss it. Redondo Food Mart, right off of Sapphire. Right around the corner from here. So that's my video about Vince Neil. There's a grave site, of course, for Nicholas Dingley. He's not buried here. He's buried overseas. Otherwise, I would have gone to it for this video. Rest in peace, Nicholas, and to the other 2 victims. I hope they're coping still to this day. I mean, what are we looking at? 16 and 22, 38 years ago. The car crash happened. Yeah, Motley Crüe, very, very huge at the time. I mean, they just come off the album Shout of the Devil. So they were, just Chuck It On. Then Theater of Pain came out 6.5 months later, and it was dedicated to Razzle. As far as I know, the lead singer of Hanoi Rocks, they broke up not soon after. They tried to keep it together, but apparently Razzle was the glue. He was only on 2 of their albums because they had added previous drummer, but he was apparently the glue that held them together and quelled the fights and quelled the arguments and brought them, made them a sturdier band. And when they lost him, the band crumbled. And we lost a great band, And like I said, Motley Crüe went on to major success. They were already living the dream. And then they got even bigger, which is odd to think about. And they got even bigger after something like this happened. But you got to remember, this is the days before internet, things like that. Well, not things like that. That. And news was tabloids. You get somebody across the wire, you get in a newspaper article, think he was drunk and was in a car accident. Somebody died. And all is forgiven, apparently. Not so. I find it very, very odd that he hasn't learned his lesson. He's gotten more DUIs since. I don't know what he's fighting. He's got some inner demons, but take away his license. He's making enough money. Get a driver, dude. May seem harsh, but seriously? You kill somebody while you're under the influence of alcohol driving, you get away with it. I'm sure he's definitely. I've seen him in videos of him in court. He looks utterly devastated, somewhat. Or is he sad because he's in court? I don't know. But what's he? Isn't that a wake-up call? Don't drink and drive.
This is misfortune. We obviously came together and helped the cat out, and became closer as friends as well as band members.
We've always been tight, and that just helped to make it tighter. Thing is, I'd been in a bad car accident, and so had Tommy previous to that, and we were both very drunk when it happened. And then it happened to Vince, who wasn't nearly, as under the influence as us, and we all said, you know, this could have happened to me, or it could happen to Tommy or Mick or any of our friends, and it's something that we've said, you know, it's time to like straighten up about that. You know, about drinking and driving at the same time. You know, drink if you want, great, but don't drive. And so it made us tighter. And hopefully you made it aware through our record of, you know, helping some kids out to realize that too.
All right. Thank you for watching, and like I was saying, rest in peace, Razzle. Peace.